Yep. Yes. Hey, what's going on? Hey, yeah, we are live, and it's Wednesday. And I've got the full group here, which is pretty cool. And you know what? There's a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. The Microsoft financials came out for Xbox, and that's looking very strong. Red Dead Redemption 2 is about to release. There's rumors of Destiny 3 starting up, which I'm sure Xbot and Mooch are gonna have something to say about that. Crackdown 3, they're starting to get hype about that. Weird. Never thought anybody would get hype about that game again. Xbox Scarlet stuff, PS5 stuff. There's a whole plethora of interesting topics to cover today. So it's going to be a very exciting night. So if you guys wouldn't mind, hit that like button early and often. Share it out to, all the social media networks that you're on. Hey, we all love social media, the Facebooks, the Twitters, whatever the heck else. MySpace, yes. I mean, come on. I mean, MySpace. Hey, you know what? I gotta say, MySpace was the stuff, man. It was back in the day. I loved it. I used to have like this page that would just kill anybody's computer when they went on. Yeah. So much stuff on there, like
stuff moving around, and
flashing stuff, and I had like music playlists, and it was all different kinds of stuff. But yeah, it was always a lot of fun.
All the good old days.
Yes, I loved it. It was a simpler times, folks. Believe it or not, people didn't even get nearly as offended back then. But anyway, Mooch, what's up? How's it going, my friend?
Great, buddy. I'm glad. That was like a whole introduction right up to 2018. That was very good. Yes. No, a lot of stuff to talk about, Crap. I skimmed through some of your topics. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to rival my topics list for Crossfire, right? I give a scroll, and now you're doing like the Elder Scroll. I don't know what's going on.
Well, okay, so
it does rival. Like if you put both of them together, it's like the 10 Commandment tablets.
It really
is. On one side, 5 commandments on the other.
And let there be topics.
Lunkin in the chat goes, "Oh shit!" And Mooch is already yelling.
Hey, I got some of that before the show even started, like 20 minutes ago when I put the room up. People were like, "I can't wait to hear Mooch yell." I was like, "He'll probably yell about something." It's,
there it is. Turn the volume down. Mooch is already in the room. No, listen, Crap. There's a lot to talk about. There's a couple of heated situations out there that I'm a little antsy to get into, but we'll see where the show goes, and if the direction goes that way, then you might get a Mooch rant. We'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I definitely am looking forward to it. We've got the saltiest mofo around. What are you at? Like 2,500 subs now, Salty, man. Congrats on that.
That's 2,500. Yeah,
that's a big number,
buddy.
Man. Thank you. I had to hand out some L's today. I'm not going to lie. We were handing them out in the Salt Kingdom here. We had some people in the comments section trying to call me out and stuff. So I got a little testy. Had to put a screenshot up. Had a show with Boom. It was fun. Had really good response to that show. I'm ready to go. I got my Red Bull. Want to talk some games.
Nice. And we've got Foxy back. She's back and she's putting out videos. She did a nice video about Battlefield 5 today. I know she's super amped about that Battle Royale mode that got delayed till next year, so she's bummed about that. But other than that, what's going on?
Yes, I'm heartbroken about that. But yeah, me and just the other 20 people talking about Battlefield. I'm so happy about it. I can't wait.
Hey.
What's up? I'm glad I'm back. What's up, chat? What's up?
It'll be fine, and Mooch is going to probably play.
It'll be really great in January, in March, and in June when other parts of the game come out. I can't wait.
Yes, I'm looking forward to putting all the pieces together. I'm looking forward to it.
Has anybody got a dumpster fire picture we can get on screen? Oh, I'm sorry. Man. Let's continue.
Don't bring it over my way, sir.
Hey,
also, I've been enjoying Destiny, so let me try to get on Mooch's side.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
God Destiny, as Luca would call
Yobi Dren, before I could even get all the things in, he says, major announcements. Mooch and Crap in the Mornings is returning in a huge way. I love these advertising the MNC comeback. He says, if it's okay with the guys, I'll give away 2 copies of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's fine. That's definitely fine, man. I'm sure that some people in here would love to win some Red Dead Redemption.
Everybody loves giveaways.
I already mooched it. That's how mad I am. That's great, Yobi.
Hey, I gotta say, I mooched it too, and I mooched it in a way that allowed me to pre-order it so I could pre-download that beast, and it took me 2 days. I'm extremely happy.
Well, in the world of mooching, Crap, I'd like to let the audience know what happened. I walked across hot fire again, hot coals with like some kind of like protective clothing on. You decided to walk across it with bare feet. And let me tell you something, it's dangerous, my friend.
It is.
Grounds.
I realize that, right? And especially shout out to the dude because me and him go back and forth about football all the time, but all in good fun. He's a Browns fan after all.
Great dude.
And yeah, and he's like, he hooked me up. He's the guy that hooked you up with Octopath Traveler.
He did. The first and probably last Mooch Switch game of all time. You know, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I really want Dark Souls on Switch. I do. But
yeah.
$40, man. You know, it's just, I'm like, you know, I already own it on 2 systems. I can't do it again. I can't.
Yeah, I hear you. He's like, I can't. I won't.
I won't.
I won't. And you making his probably 3rd week in a row deal. We got XBot aimbot 4483792. The way I talked him into coming back, I was like, hey, we're gonna talk about Destiny 3 rumors, and he's like, I'm there.
Dude, you know, I responded probably the quickest I've ever responded to you.
You did. I was like, oh, and because I asked you late too, I was like, hey man, I got this Destiny topic. You interested in hopping on tonight? And he was like, yep. He's like, for sure.
Great.
I was like, yeah, it's gonna be great. Let's go. It's great.
I believe it.
Yeah, he loves XBot, or you know, XBot loves.
I love XBot.
He loves XBot too.
He loves himself.
You saw the picture of me in the DM. That's all real, by the way.
Yes, you're definitely on some kind of HGH there. Yes, I mean that's that stuff's not good for the nether regions. I'm just saying, dude.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
No,
yes,
no.
I'm just saying. Hey,
it's bad for the berries, but not necessarily the twig, is what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say there.
Who wants their berries?
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Calm down, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you know what? There's a lot of people talking about different things when it comes to Xbox right now, right? Like, oh, it's doing terrible. It hasn't sold for crap. It's doing all this stuff. So anyway, Microsoft did their 2019 financial results, right? Quarterly gaming revenue up 44%. Xbox software services growth of 36%. Revenue during the past year totals 11.1 billion compared to 8.6 billion the prior year. So that's the highest they've ever had in terms of the Xbox group. $11 billion revenue. Xbox Live monthly active users, everybody loves that. 57 million was 53 million last year. Yeah. Here's some of the bigger stuff, right? This is like really incredible stuff. Xbox hardware revenue almost doubled. It's up 94% due to the Xbox One X launch. So this is as close to hardware figures as that they've announced. So basically almost up 100% once the X released, proving that, you know, gamers really want that hardcore machine that can do, you know, the best and the latest and the greatest. And I think that is absolutely incredible to see. Everything's up. They're making more money than ever, but yet you still have some sectors of people that think that Xbox is closing down or that it's selling poorly or that they're doing bad. Like, how can it, when it's making more money right now? And I'm not like the money guy. I'm not saying they're making money, so it's fun. I'm saying that they sold more 360s probably, but they didn't make nearly the amount of revenue that they're making now. Right. So the people that are kind of doom and gloom, it's kind of asinine to really go that route and claim that they're doing poorly, because they're clearly investing more now into the Xbox brand than they ever have. I don't ever recall them doing this. And to see these kind of numbers come out, the Xbox Live is up, the hardware is up, the software is up, everything's up, and not just up a little bit. I mean, Phil's plan seems to be working. And this is only going to buy them more money from Microsoft to go out and get things like developers and invest in games and things like that. And I think that's the important thing. The people that are going to cling to the old ways of, oh, well, they lost NPD or they did this or they did that. Like, that's a very old way of thinking about things, people. You have to remember that Microsoft stopped reporting not only Xbox stuff, but they also stopped reporting numbers of other stuff too. So it wasn't necessarily all doom and gloom or this means it's bad. People assume that it's bad, and that's on them, right? People assume that Forza Horizon 4 would do bad, or that Sea of Thieves did bad, or State of Decay 2 did bad. That's just assumptions, you know, and you know what happens when you assume? It makes an ass out of you and me. So the best thing you can do is not assume and just let Microsoft be Microsoft, because it looks like they're investing more than they've ever done before. They're making games. They're making a lot of the right moves, listening to the fans. Mooch, tell us what you think about this, because I find it to be pretty cool.
I think it's I like the way you ended your segment there, Crap. I mean, realistically, there's a lot of Sony fans in the chat, and I'm going to kind of make your day in the beginning, but you have to understand, you have to hear the whole thing. Sony and Crap, you said this on Twitter today, so I'm not just saying this to appease anybody. Okay, PS4 won this generation. Okay, there's no question. There's no this. There's no that. As far as
no ifs,
hardware.
ands, or buts.
Right.
That's over.
Okay,
Yes,
that's over. It's been over. It's been over.
Oh,
So
it's been over.
for all you guys in the chat that are like, well, who won? Who won? Who won? But here's the thing. Let me answer some of the guys in the chat that are asking the who won. Tell me who really won. My question is, I kind of want to reflect. I want to pull a Superman 2 and reflect that question back on you. Okay. and I want to say, who really
Superman
did win?
reference.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, food, superheroes. We try to flip flop every once in a while.
Yes.
But realistically, Crap, you said it yourself in that last part of your segment, is that times are changing. And
Yes.
I'm actually okay with the fact to get rid of NPD. The whole NPD and the people that report NPD and all them, they get all excited. They get really excited. Like 1 week out of the year, they get excited. 1 week out of the month, pardon me. And it's like, you know what? It's like enough with that. Here's the deal. Money is now measured and distributed differently. Okay. It literally used to be 10 years ago. You went into a store, now PC guys are like, that's horseshit. We've been doing digital forever. That's true. You guys have been, but we're catching up here. Now it's no longer, there's no more midnight launches anymore. There's no more midnight launches for games. Everybody, you go to a midnight launch, you can go to it. It's you and whoever you dragged with you. And they're usually begrudgingly there.
Yep.
And realistically, we're in a different time. This is why Microsoft didn't just decide to do it because they were losing. They decided to start to show their numbers in users and online users and active players, et cetera, because metrics have changed. And you guys that are all Sony fans, you guys know this. Don't get me wrong. You want to get your jabs in, that's fine. But you guys all know this. The determining of who actually wins month to month has changed. So if you want to talk about just one column, the hardware sales used to be like everything. And you know what, guys? Back in the day, it was everything, especially last generation, early part of this generation. It really was. But now you've even got friends of yours that are saying, I'll never buy a digital copy. One's on this panel.
Yeah.
Rhymes with Roxy.
Oh,
Okay. she'll get a digital copy if need be. Oh, I'm only kidding.
Yes.
Roxy.
I
Look.
think
Yes,
it's
you're right.
fine.
No,
We're
no,
talking about crap.
You did it too. Crap did it too. I could have said Pappy. But I mean,
Perfect.
realistically, I think that we have to look at this NPD. We have to kind of scratch our heads. You have to look at all the columns. See, a lot of the people right now are looking at that one column of hardware, and off they go. Time to hit Twitter. And I'm like, listen, that's fine. Look at hardware, but you got to look at the other 6, 7 columns because they mean a lot to the investors and actually to the business. And the business is healthy. Go ahead, Xbox. But the business is healthy.
Well, Mooch, this is something that we have been trying to say ever since the beginning of this generation. When it comes to the business side of things, the only reason why the sales of the hardware mattered was getting that platform out there to be able to sell what really makes the money, the software. And when it comes to Microsoft, you saw what happened beginning of this generation. They're like, well, you know what? We're going to trim some of this fat and we're going to go straight to the software and really boost up our revenue that way. So, you look at the subscriptions with Game Pass, you look at what they're doing digitally with the Microsoft Store. I mean, for people who only point to that one thing, that MPD thing, that never really mattered. If that was the case, then last generation, the Wii won last generation hands down above anything else. And nobody says that. Nobody puts the Wii there.
I just want to counter that point a little bit. It's not a counter to your point, but it's just what stands out to me in this MPD. Because like you guys are right when you're talking about like we don't get paid by these companies. Like why would I give a shit if Microsoft is making an extra billion or two or whatever? What really stands out to me is I'm a numbers guy. I like analytics. It's something that you can't really debate. You can debate opinions when it comes to gaming, and people do that all the time. They make up facts. They say things are facts, but when you see numbers and you see percentages, those are facts. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 + 2 = 4, like it's a mathematic thing. So like when Matt Piscatella, an analyst, is coming out and saying that the Xbox One X is the best selling Xbox One hardware item of this year in both dollars and units sold, that stands out to me. What also stands out is the fact that the PlayStation Slim is the best-selling console on the other side. So it kind of makes me think, well, what's the difference on this side as opposed to the other side? You look at all these numbers, and the Xbox One X is flying out the door, folks. And when this was announced at E3, people laughed at it with the price point. They laughed at it, said it wouldn't sell. It's a mid-gen refresh. It's never going to work. But who's laughing now? I mean, look at the sales, and you got to look at it. It's like, well, why is it selling over the S that's a cheaper console? Like, that's crazy to me, guys. Like, that it just doesn't make sense. But it makes sense to me because I have an Xbox One X and I know what it does, right? We're seeing that with Red Dead Redemption, the 4K assets. It's the proof's in the pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's old habits die hard, Salty, but I mean, you guys know, I sent the pictures out. You guys know what I've got as far as graphic. I went and built and Crap likes to say sarcastically, which he's kind of right.
You sarcastically built this.
I did. And you know what, Crap? I've got
a better PC than Mikey Barra because he's tweeting about, dude, he's tweeting about upgrading to the PC you have.
Yeah.
Stuff right? So
but the thing is, I've got less than 30 minutes of game time on it because
of course you do.
I'm a console guy.
Of course.
And, you know, I mean, I know it's just, and look at, you know, it is what it is, folks. But I like to know because you know what they say, don't knock it till you try it. So, I mean, like, I'm trying it, but here's the thing. Everything I've said for the years, I still really enjoy, whether you're a PS4 gamer or you're an Xbox gamer, I still like the couch, a big coffee table, and a 75-inch television. Who the hell's yelling? I can't get away from the console space. And here I am sitting here with this PC, and don't get me wrong, it's great, it's fun. I do get where PC gamers come that are not console guys. I understand where they're coming from. But realistically, I'm sitting here excited for Scarlet. You know what I mean? I'm still excited for that next generation. So this is the whole thing. Console health is relevant. It's there. The business is doing very well. So everybody in the chat, no matter which actual box you prefer, good news is they're all going to make a next generation. That goes Nintendo's, that goes for Sony, goes for Microsoft, and that's great for all of us. It really is great. So the numbers were all staggering, Crap, and I think that the doom and gloom for Xbox is kind of going away. It really is because they're getting their numbers on their month-to-month increase in active users.
But
Crap.
they
That's
already,
what they care about.
Mooch, they already knew that when they started going this direction. I want to give.
We knew that. Yeah, that's true. They knew that.
I want to give a huge shout out to everybody out there. You know, Crap, you know, Mooch, you know, for the people who, you know, back in the day were saying that software is what really makes the dough. This is what the businesses really care about. They want to get the hardware out there, like I said before, as a platform. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who stuck with that common sense, because now with Microsoft doing what they're doing and pulling in all this revenue, you see the 5 studios that we're getting, possibly more. You see that there's more games on the way now. It's because of all this. It's because of Game Pass. It's because of their digital sales. It's because people really enjoy the Xbox platform. And I gotta say, huge shout out to everybody who actually, stayed within that common sense and didn't stray when it was so easy to stray. When social media starts getting into the hardware sales and how Xbox lost again, this and that, whatever. I know Crap was right there to show that, when it comes down to it, there are more numbers than just how many pieces of hardware are out there. And those numbers are according to like your house. You know what I'm saying? As long as you are building up something bigger and creating more revenue in-house, that money is going to new experiences, more games, more studios. That's exactly what we're seeing going into Scarlet, and I cannot wait, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Foxy. I can see you're wanting to jump in here.
Yeah, you guys hit a lot of key points. You said a lot of great things I agree with, but for me, as a certain kind of gamer, I don't care about any of those things. I don't care about looking at the numbers, seeing what sells, what isn't selling. But I also do like seeing some of that stuff because it is healthy. It's doing well. My preferred platform is bringing out games all the time. I always see like what's, the best-selling games and stuff like that because I want to see if those games are going to continue in the future. And it's ridiculous to me sometimes when people think, oh, Xbox is dead. And I'm like, but why would you say that? I think all these consoles that are available right now have learned from the past, especially from Sega. R.I.P. Sega, I love you. They've learned from that mistake, and they're not going to go through that again. Even when people thought Nintendo was going to die out, look at this. They rose from the ashes again with their first-party stuff that everyone loves. Whether you've played Mario and Zelda in the past, there's a new version of Mario and Zelda now. So with Xbox, it's so healthy and is doing so well. They're giving me content. I'm going to stay on that platform. And the most important part that I ever heard in recent time is Xbox One is doing much better than Xbox 360, which is everyone's highlight. I don't know anybody that hasn't played on a 360, has owned a 360, enjoyed games on the 360. So to say that Xbox One is dead when it's doing better than its previous, it's, crazy to me.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because like I said, Xbox 360 obviously had its ups and downs, but everybody had it. It was the household name.
Yeah.
Everybody, has good memories of that. I don't care what games you played. If you were a Call of Duty fan, you played it on Xbox because you got the better version, and Xbox Live, obviously, party chats, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I pushed all that stuff.
Yeah, PlayStation couldn't do any of that, and even now, PlayStation's having the trouble keeping up with Xbox. I mean, we're gonna talk about the quote unquote side effects of changing your PlayStation Network name, but let's just say the side effects don't outweigh the positive stuff there. But that's very good news, because Microsoft also announced, or Matt Piscatella, the new Golden Boy Mooch.
Yeah,
yeah.
Join us 15 minutes.
Yes. He also announced that the Xbox One X bundle is the best-selling bundle for Microsoft this year, more than the Xbox One S, which I think Salty kind of alluded to, which was actually pretty cool. And if you want to get technical, Sony and the PS4 One NPD, there you go, babies. You got it. Congratulations.
You guys heard that?
You
heard it?
They recorded it, and they put it in their pocket.
You heard it?
Exactly. So Sony won. Of course they were going to win. It's September. That's when Spider-Man came out. It'd be foolish to think that they wouldn't win. Yeah.
Why do people think that we're scared to say that Sony won MPD?
I know.
That's like saying
I have no idea. Sony, I used to do something with mayonnaise. It's so long ago.
I was just thinking that.
My last episode of Xbox Nation tonight.
when Xbox would win an MPD, it's been so long, man. I had to throw it all out. It's all expired. So I mean, come on.
I thought you were gonna say I used to eat mayonnaise sandwiches, because that's like
no. It was a totally different. It was a little mayonnaise. You put it on the skin. It's good for you.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, you know what I mean. Yes, it's a little. Foxy knows what's up. But yeah.
I don't know. Don't bring this up.
I'm just saying, I haven't had to worry about that in the longest time.
I mean, I think you jinxed it, actually. If anything, I think it's your fault that Xbox hasn't won shit because of that. But anyway,
it hasn't. I was like, I'm gonna rub that on my belly and put it on camera and stuff, and then they haven't won since. And that was like, holy crap, a year and a half ago or something, and still nothing. So, hey, you guys,
I just want to say that Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, and if you eat it, you're gross.
Thank you.
Right?
Salty, honest to God, you are a New Yorker just hiding in Arizona.
Yes. Hiding in Arizona.
I completely, maybe he's in the witness protection program. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
For you.
Maybe.
I feel the same way, and this is not a food podcast.
I know.
You better give me real mayonnaise. I don't want nothing to do with that damn Miracle Whip.
Oh, Miracle Whip is gross. It's
the
like
worst.
Oh, I thought
somebody put sugar in the mayonnaise.
We're done here.
Okay, you guys know.
All right,
no,
sorry.
Go back to the topic.
My fault.
Yeah, well, hey, over 500 people watching. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 200 likes. Hey, Hellman's Light is the best. I will agree to that. I mean, I'm not a big man. I mean, all jokes aside. Although I do an I Am Mayo review that was spectacular.
Oh my God, that was amazing. I love it.
Exactly. Thank you. So that was a really, really.
It's the only mayo thing I like.
Not the mayonnaise cream. Come on, that could be awesome. Hey, so let's jump into this PSN name thing, right? So there could be a few side effects. I kind of made a joke about this. Yeah, I kind of made a joke about this, talking about like male pattern baldness. Your PS4 could explode. It can cause impotence. It can cause all kinds of problems. Basically what happens is they warn you right away, right? They say, hey, you might not be able to access your DLC, which can you believe that? Like, you might not be able to access your DLC?
Not okay. Not
like,
okay.
How is, I mean, look, we're in 2018. I get it. We're almost 2019. This is going in, you know, going in 2019. And the fact that we're not able to change our names yet. And here, I'll read you guys what this says. Not all games and applications for PS4, PS3, Vita, and other PlayStation systems support the online ID change feature. If you change your online ID, you may lose access to content, including paid-for content that you have required for your games, including content like add-ons and virtual currency. You may lose your progress within games, including game save data, leaderboard data, and progress towards trophies. Parts of your games and applications might not function properly, both offline and online. Your previous online IDs may remain visible to you and other players in some places. The changes during the preview will adhere to the following structure. First change is free. Second change will be charged $10. If your previous online ID violates any of the current terms of service, you'll not be able to revert back to your previous ID. Sub-accounts cannot utilize change online feature. After you change your online ID, it may take a few hours for some services and applications to reflect the new ID. Yeah, so think about that. Doesn't that read like some kind of medical thing? Like, yeah, you can take this pill and it'll fix this.
Yeah, at
But
the end
then
of the commercial.
Yeah, it
they
might
have
All
the
the quick
small
wording
print.
at the end. Yeah.
like, hey, you might lose your progress. You might towards trophies. You might, and it's not going to show up in games.
Well,
anyway.
listen, Seth.
Holy crap!
He goes, that's just legal speak, Seth. And I know you're a Sony fan, but listen, this isn't poking fun or anything like that. You even got Greg Miller. That's like, holy shit. Andrea Renee, she's also known on this show as Sony Renee, or
that's
Andrea,
because she's married to a Sony executive.
a Sony rep. Like she even said, "What the hell are they doing over there?" So this is not a console war discussion. This is a situation where I've said this a number of times, and I'll continue to say it. They are better off to just leave things alone. I believe the Sony fan base was completely fine knowing that they were going to be stuck with McLovin for the next 20 years, right? They were okay with that. They were moving.
Yeah, they were willing to accept it.
They were moving. Doing this is an absolute logistics and public relations nightmare. And you're probably going, how, Mooch? We all know. We've all been warned. You've been warned. You're watching gaming podcasts. You're reading gaming journalists. These, majority of casual gamers are not doing either of those two things. So they're going to come home. They're going to see that they're eligible for a beta or an alpha. They're going to log in. They're definitely going to sign up for it because a lot of people have been waiting for it. And then they're not going to, who the hell reads it? We all get our phones, or you get new software subscription. There's all this stuff that says, blah, 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 blah. You scroll all the way down. You hit, I agree. You do it for Windows 10. You do it for everything.
Oh, sad but true.
So when you accept that, no one's reading all that. And then they're going to have a problem. They're going to lose backed up data. And there's going to be an absolute public relations nightmare on their hands. And they're going to be like, well, we said this. No one reads that. And here's the thing. You want to say as far as legal? I agree with you. They're covered legally. You know what they're not covered by? The ridiculous social media nonsense that's going to go on for the next 24 months. Somebody can't say that they're at the top of the charts on Drive Club.
It's not just legal stuff, right? Because I get like you have to cover yourself when you do that. When they're flat out telling you it's not going to work on games, like they're not saying that. That's not a legal aspect. They're saying this thing's not going to work on all games, right? Only games to a certain point. So if you're playing, and this isn't just for the beta, like I would imagine like this is how it's going to be. They're like, hey, not all games are going to be able to support this. And that's true because it's held together by hefty bags and duct tape.
Hey,
so
crap. I got to say that the chat is in complete damage control right now. Somebody actually put that Sony are not developers. They are investors, and this stuff is hard for them. So you're going to accept it.
Hey, Danny and Dino says, even if my PSN name was my ex's name, I wouldn't risk changing it to save my current relationship.
Thank you.
Smart man.
Hey, I can piggyback off of that. There's a saying, right? You guys ready? You can't change chicken shit into chicken salad. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it is what it is. You can't convert it. So.
That's why you don't get your significant other's names tattooed on you either.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Because yes, think of that as the PlayStation Network ID, right? Once you get that done, there's no changing it. I mean, come on, let's just be real. You could try to cover it up, but it's always going to say what it is. It's really just gonna, you know what I mean? Like, look, the best thing you could do is just, I guess,
try to make a butterfly off your ID or something.
I guess just be smart about it when you start up your. Wow, there's some haters in there today, man.
Hey.
Haterade, I think.
I think
out the haterade
brought them. You know,
seriously, they're all over the place here. You know.
Well, check this out, guys. There's two things with this that I want to point out. Two kind of like, and yeah, they're negative things for gamers. Now, the first thing is, instead of them going back to the infrastructure, back to the foundation of PlayStation Network and doing what they had to do to fix the situation where you can change your name, it is obvious that they found a patchwork, a workaround to try to get your ID to be changed. And that's bad in and of itself. But that also tells me, moving into PlayStation 5, it tells me that they are going to use the same infrastructure that they have been using since the PlayStation 3 when it comes to their online with their next piece of hardware as well, the PlayStation 5. So that should be another red flag on top of the other red flags that Sony is giving to people.
I want to bring Seth in the chat to anytime I ever get in any kind of legal trouble. I want to bring him with me. He says here the legal speak is smart. Look at the 1.3 billion for Red Ring of Death. Seth, that is completely a whole nother category that we're talking.
It's called the whataboutism.
That's like the difference between a recall for your windshield wipers and a recall because your brakes don't work. It's a huge difference here. I mean, this is something that's just really it's a PR nightmare. And if you were Sony's PR, you know, Sony Entertainment's PR, and you're going to have thousands of people that find out that, maybe they're going to lose some of that data. You're going to be in an absolute shitstorm. And you're talking about the need to be able to, you're going to have to give them something back. And what are you going to give them back for their memories and their lost time and effort? Sometimes, let me tell you something, guys. Sometimes a code for a game or a new controller, those are all really cool things. Take it from a mooch. But realistically, right, I've done certain things in games that I'm really proud of and I like to show off. And like to say that those are erased and you're going to give me a free controller or a free game, that doesn't really make up for it. So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Software,
here, Seth.
hardware.
You're right that they did the right thing legally. So Seth, I agree with you. Everything there is fine. But what I'm saying is I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, they're covering.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
It's all good. Go ahead.
Okay, they're covering their ass, and that's fine. But as a gamer, I don't see how you could defend this because, it's one thing if it affects the way it looks in a game, but when it affects your DLC, something that you've purchased, that's a different story. And it seems like they're just adding layer on top of layer on top of layer when it comes to software, and it doesn't work that way. And actually, they've been using this freaking software since the PSP in 04.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point too, because when you boot up the PS3 or PSP or even the PS4, the PS4 is like an updated version of that, but it's the same thing. They just it's same, different.
But still the
same.
Yeah, different theme.
They just allowed pictures on there instead of just that basic kind of scrolling bar or whatever. Right. And it's very, very easy to see kind of what they were doing there. This is fine if you're a fanboy and you want to say, hey, Sony didn't do any wrong. It's fine. I'm still going to use it. Okay, that's fine. But as a true gamer, you're going to know this is just bullshit. Hey, that is true. Look, if this was Microsoft, I'd say the same thing. Like, wow, you couldn't think to actually do this. Why didn't Sony just do this? We're close to next generation. Start your infrastructure from the ground up, and then just allow people to import their trophies. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a big deal. Just import your trophies. Like, you don't need to keep putting. It's like they're putting Flex Seal all over their infrastructure, and eventually it's going to catch up to them. And I think that's realistically a really bad thing for gamers. For them to kind of be able to do this. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Crap, before we move on from this, because that's the tone of voice that I got. We're about to move on. I just want to say, because people are bringing back the Red Ring of Death, and they're like, well, the Red Ring of Death was definitely
2005, 2006 call.
Yeah, but here's the deal. When it came to that, when they realized that, the 360s were doing that, what did Bomber do? He's like, hell no, we can't have this happen. Let the customer send it back to us, and we'll send them another one right away. They took a loss financially to make sure that you had a working 360. What I see Sony doing right here is laying out what might happen to cover their ass. So this way they don't have to cover you financially. You already knew what you were getting into before time if you change your ID.
They need Allstate, right? Like you're in good hands with Allstate. What did you want to say, Salty, before we moved on? I saw you in the chat.
Finally. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would feel offended as a PlayStation gamer, like offended that, you know, people think that you don't have intelligence or you lack foresight as a customer and a consumer. The tagline, the byline is for the gamers. This is not for the gamers. This is the opposite of that. And I think the real loser here is the consumer, the casual that doesn't do research, that's not a lawyer. And they're going to change, you know, like a parent, hey, you know, you want to change your name? Okay, cool. We change it. All the stuff stops working or whatever stops working. You lose purchases. It's very anti-consumer, honestly, like to be able to push this out and call it a beta. And then it just lacks foresight. It lacks, you know, planning, and it's supposedly giving some people what they want, but in effect, it's just like you hand someone a sandwich that looks good on the outside, and it has rotten meat on the inside, or rotten cheese, right? You know, so it is.
Well, you know it for me, man. I'm Italian, man. I eat my sandwiches, man.
Exactly.
Salty makes a good point though, because if you look at the insider program and the alpha, beta, deltas that are taking part on Xbox's insiders, you know, listen, there's a lot of people that complain, and I was one of them. Crap was one of them. But here's the thing: even if it absolutely shit the bed, all you got to do is reset your console, right? And then you put in your information again, and bang, you're back to where you were, and you can opt out of it. So that's an alpha and a beta. So if the PS names change thing said, listen, try it out. These are the issues you're probably going to run into. However, if you revert back to your old name and old account, which will be spared for you during this beta and alpha, whichever they're calling it, you'll get everything back. Well, that's a trial and error thing, and that's up to you if you want to take that risk. But guess what? It's no harm, no foul. This is different. This is, you know, blindfoldedly just falling backwards. And this, instead of being with like your staff or your group that you've known at work for years, you're like, don't catch me. There's no one there but a bunch of Sony executives, and you don't know when you fall backwards if you're going to smack your head against the curb. You have no idea. And it's like, it's a blind leap of faith. And I think that is listen, as far as gamers go, if you don't take my word for it, take Greg Miller's. You don't take mine or his, take Andrea Renee. Take anyone's you want that's all totally Sony all the time. But I'm telling you, as far as gamers go, you've all worked too hard for the small victory of changing your gamer tag. It's not worth it at this point. And let me tell you something. With that long list of uh-ohs and oops, I don't think this is something that's ever going to be a viable option without major risk. So I think here's the thing.
I get the people that are going, oh, it's just beta. Like, hold on. Use that same energy and enthusiasm that you do for Xbox stuff on PlayStation. Like, I would love this to see the one Sony guy in the chat go, you know what, you're right. Sony needs to do better.
That's what I'm watching the chat waiting for this. And I got to say, Crap, I am loving this right now because it's reverted back to one thing and one thing only. They're like, well, why are you talking about the PlayStation? Why are you talking about something y'all hate or whatever? When half of these people that are in the chat that are trying to defend this are people that are out there on Twitter talking about Forza, saying, oh, another Forza. Oh, it's Halo, Gears, and Forza, and that's it. And it's a platform that they hate, but yet they talk about it as well. I'm loving the chat.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of funny, and it is a little bit hypocritical. Like, come on, man. We admit. Look, I'll tell you something bad about Xbox right now. They're charge people to play Xbox Live for free-to-play games. That is BS. They need to fix that. That is wrong. That's not consumer
friendly.
We've all been on record saying that that's wrong. I have yet to see like Sony dudes admit that Sony does anything wrong. Like it's absolutely unreal. I do not understand why it's a bad thing to go, yeah, Sony dropped the ball on that. You know, like where are people's like, you're never going to get better or get better stuff from this company or from these companies, right? The reason why Xbox is so good right now is because people stood up and said, we're consumers. You're supposed to serve us. You're supposed to give us the good things. You're supposed to do what we want, not the other way around. You know, it's like it's like governments, right? Governments, believe it or not, work for us, not the other way around. They work for us. These companies wouldn't have anything if not for the consumers. So if you're just going to sit there and go, yeah, that's okay, that's really the wrong way to look at it. So in my opinion, Microsoft has listened to the gamers and have actually given us a lot more, and that's where competition's good. But Sony dudes, you're never going to get better things if you don't ask for better things, if you're just complacent with everything they allow you to have. And I think that's a bit of the problem that we see in this whole console war. You know what? I wanted to talk a little bit about this Xbox XO event. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because our good buddy Idle Sloth, you know him, Mooch, he's on Twitter, supports the shows and stuff like that. He always sends out this gaming news, and I saw this come across my feed. So the last Xbox XO event in 2006 was in Spain, and you want to know what they announced there?
What's that?
You guys know? Here, I'll give you a rundown. Fable 2, Halo 3, Forza Motorsport 2, Crackdown, Shadowrun, Project Gotham Racing 4, Viva Pinata, GTA 4, GTA Liberty Stories, Halo Wars, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, BioShock, Splinter Cell Double Agent, Splinter Cell Conviction, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's one hell of a lineup.
In 2006, they also announced at previous ones the purchase of Rare, but that was for not long ago. So a lot of people, and when you hear Phil Spencer, he was just on Twitter. What the hell is that?
I have no idea.
So anyway, Phil Spencer took to Twitter and goes, because somebody asked him, is it going to be like that 0 hour, which is really not a great question because 0 hour was the launch of Xbox 360. Be careful, it's a supporter, Mooch. So yeah, it's probably not the best question, but it's not, Well,
because, really, you said it yourself, and you said it on a different podcast we were on. But to be honest with you, it's not a launch of a console.
Yes, exactly. So, and Phil Spencer goes, no, it's going to be in line with what other XO events were. So he reaffirms it is going to be what those are, which those sounds awesome. I'm sitting there reading these lists, and holy crap, there is a ton of talk about games, and that's what everybody talks about, right? It's like, but where's the games? I'll give you a little bit more. Like, you guys all know Jez, good guy, Windows Central.
Yeah.
He tweeted out earlier a lot of Microsoft marketing staff hanging out in Ninja Theory City today.
Yep.
Does anybody else find that interesting? Didn't we hear Phil Spencer at E3 say, you know what? We intentionally held back some announces at E3. Ninja Theory would be the one that would be closest out of their recent purchases.
Well, didn't they say that they were developing a game like before they got purchased by Microsoft? So therefore, they are probably farther along in the development cycle.
That VR game, though.
Well, I mean, they're working on multiple projects. I mean, the VR game
just started
was like
the Star Wars VR, right?
Yeah, I guess they started that before Microsoft bought them. But it's
that's what I thought was older.
It's like a small thing, though. It's like a side team doing that.
Oh well, yeah. I'm sure that it's a small game, but I thought that was what they're working on before. Probably Ninja Theory around that time. Well, was it Hellblade, right? And then right after they're done with that, right? Probably before they ported it over to the Xbox or whatever, they're probably working on something then.
Well, here's the thing. They had 100 people working there. 20 did Hellblade. I like Seth's comment. He says Ninja Theory equals one and done track record. Isn't that what people complain that Xbox doesn't have enough one and dones?
Yeah.
So, and they've already been out on record saying, hey, the reason why we accepted the buyout of Microsoft is because they're allowing us to have our freedom to do what they want. So they're allowed to do what they want. This guy in the before Lethal Papa just deleted that. I will answer it. He says, well, he called us X-boners. Man, can't you just call Xbox fans? He says they love single player all of a sudden. Xbox gamers never dislike single player games.
We grew up with single player. What the hell are you talking about?
Nobody dislikes single player games. I don't
We like a diverse portfolio.
Thank you, Saul.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, right? I love God of War as my game of the generation, my game of the year. As far
that's why Crap's actually still podcasting.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for that throwable axe, I don't know where I'd be right now.
He was gonna walk away.
I was ready to go, and then it saved me. Spider-Man, that was a solid game, good single. Tomb Raider. Holy crap, I love that game. Just a fantastic experience.
Oh, the Tomb Raiders. Love it.
Exactly. Assassin's Creed, although I'm not too far into that. So far, people are like, it's amazing. People like Colt Eastwood and everybody saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm looking forward to getting Red Dead Redemption 2. Comes out Friday, single player. I'm good with that, man. But you know what? You know what I've been playing every day still? I can still play both of those. I've been playing Black Ops 4. I'll be playing Battlefield 5. I still play Gears 4. I can play all that stuff. And the great thing is Microsoft does fantastic job with the multiplayer stuff. So if they start adding single player stuff, we have the complete package. But what about Sony? Are you guys ever going to complain to them that you're not getting the multiplayer stuff? You're paying for PlayStation Plus, and they're giving you no unique online multiplayer experience.
No, they're, you know, short of them going to their multi-plat, they don't have anything that Sony doesn't. Look at all the games. Look at the games that are coming out. I mean, you've got The Last of Us will probably have a. I will say this much. I mean, and again, it's still niche because I don't think there was a large. It's not like as big as Halo or as big as Gears, but The Last of Us has a multiplayer, which I thought was decent. But everything else, the Uncharted multiplayer is horrid. There's no multiplayer in Spider-Man. There's no multiplayer that we know of in Death Stranding or in any of the other games coming out. You know, I think that Sony, I like your point, Crap, and how you say that PS Plus has now gone from free, you know, in last generation to $60 a year. And if I'm a PlayStation fan, I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, why am I paying $60 again? I know you're getting you're not getting free games. Those games are not free. Those $60, your $60 is paying for those games you're getting on PS Plus. The same thing with Xbox Live Gold. And so I thank God that narrative ended. When you get bad games every month on the Xbox games with Gold or the PS Plus, people are like, well, it's free. Nothing's free in life, buddy.
Nothing is free.
Nothing. So I mean, realistically, Crap, that's the one thing I would say. Whereas on Xbox, you know, now we have some of the one and dones of the single players are coming out, and you've always got the Forzas, the Gears, and the Halos to kind of fall back on as some great multiplayer experiences. So, you know, and it's funny because Seth in the chat goes, well, tell me which console gives you the diverse games. Depends on what you're talking about. This conversation right here is pertaining to multiplayer and single player. If you're talking about getting into some of the difference between the Western RPGs and some of the Asian and like, you know, it's true. Like, you know, like that's different. It's different when you get into like the Japanese versions. The Japanese versions of role-playing games are completely different. Some of them are turn-based. They have a different style. But here's the thing. Phil Spencer's over there trying to get those on his console. And that's the thing. You're seeing Xbox really try to stretch their arms out and really trying to be this diverse melting pot of games. And Microsoft has the money to do that. So I think that what you're going to see going into the next generation is that is a huge difference between where PlayStation is still staying very traditional. And not to say that that's wrong. It's working for them now. But is that going to work for them in the next 2 to 5 years?
This is something I want to say for the whole single player aspect of this, because somebody in the chat was like, single player is king. Why don't you let Activision and Call of Duty know that? Because there's no single player campaign in that, yet that is selling a shit ton right now, and so many people are playing that game on multiple platforms. So when it comes down to
it's begrudgingly fun because I was one of the ones that was like, and I do hope that they go and add and they continue to do. I get it. They screwed up with what they were trying to do this time. Hey. I'm hoping that they can add the single player.
I'll throw some other ones in there because I mean, I like all kinds of games, right? And I like single player, multiplayer. But I mean, he's right. We had the same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. We had the same thing with Overwatch, and it still worked. They're still great and popular games.
Hey, you know what's funny is, Foxy, is I mentioned kind of, I guess, in jest, could Forza Horizon 4 be up for Game of the Year? You know, it's got all the criteria, highly rated. It's an open world game. It's more than just a car racing game, right? It appeals to a lot of people, casuals, racing fans, hardcore racing fans. Like, it appeals to a lot of people, and people go, no, it can't. It doesn't have a story. And I pointed out that Overwatch won Game of the Year. Yeah. And PUBG was up for Game of the Year. And games that are just single player story driven can win Game of the Year without multiplayer. In fact, The Walking Dead from Telltale Games years ago won a Game of the Year. So any game can realistically win Game of the Year. Yeah, go ahead, man.
If Forza Horizon wins Game of the Year, I will run nude from my house to Phoenix. Dude,
listen,
I'm not say Florida at first.
Yeah, I'm not cool with it. I know that it can't, right? Like, I get it. I'm just saying that if some of these other games can do this, then
it should be able to be in the running, but realistically, people don't give it the cred that it needs, you know. So
yeah, exactly, and so that's a little bit weird in my opinion, because I would love to see that, and I think that it's a quality game, and so for me personally, I think that that's something to be excited about. Now, so we've seen I've named off all the stuff at the last XO event. It's been a long time. It seems like if they're going to resurrect this event, don't you guys think that we're going to get some similarly exciting announcements? Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I need to know like a timeline, because I wasn't like paying attention as much as I am now, obviously. Like, was E3 as big as it is now with all the announcements and stuff like that back then? Because it seems like
bigger, I think.
Yeah, okay. So this last EXO event was 2006, and yeah, the E3s were huge back then, because if you go back and look at Microsoft's E3 2005, 2006, they were huge. But this was a specific event because Microsoft was still, trying to, obviously, the Xbox One or 360 had launched, and they're trying to garner that fan base, and they really hit it off big. And so that's what they were trying to build on, that momentum. And that's kind of what this is. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to get all of these announcements, but I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me to get a couple of nice surprises and even some decent third-party stuff. And one of the things that I was talking about that might be there, that's rumored to be there, is WB Montreal. One of the heads there was doing a podcast and let it slip that company is working on 2 DC Universe related games.
Oops.
And it's related that one of these might be at Xbox XO event. One of them could be like the Justice League game or another Batman Arkham type game. They did Batman Arkham Origins, by the way, guys, which was 5 years ago. So they're well overdue for having something. But I'd expect, and that's not going to be exclusive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's exclusive. I'm saying that it could be announced there, just like Assassin's Creed was announced at one of these things, just like GTA 4. That was a big get. You guys have to remember, GTA was like a PlayStation thing, and Microsoft paid big money to get GTA 4 on Xbox, and I think they had the DLC timed for a year or something. That was some big balling stuff right there, right, guys? I mean, hey, we get GTA. I think they paid $50 million or $75 million or something like that to get that time for a year.
You know what's funny, Crap? I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's important. A lot of things have changed. We've talked about this since the beginning of the show. We'll get to it towards the end of the show. But the one thing that I still think, okay, does it hold as much clout as it used to? Not necessarily. But here's the thing. So I've been listening to a lot of people that I consider completely neutral on YouTube. They have nothing to do with the console wars. They just do their channel.
King neutral?
Not King, no.
Oh, okay, guys.
I watch him too, but this is a different person.
Okay, cool.
And like literally, here's the thing. I still think time content is a big deal, and let me explain why. Or exclusive content. So the stuff that they're giving away on Red Dead Redemption is absolutely kind of comical and ridiculous. Who cares? But I was watching a few people that do big channels, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to stream this game, blah, blah, blah. And people were asking him, like, where are you going to play this? Where are you going to play this? He goes, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to play. So he went to the other side. He said, I'm going to be playing Fallout 76 on Xbox because it has the beta a week early. And he goes, a lot of my viewers like to see stuff early. I'm going there. He goes, because there's the exclusive content, which he goes, by the way, is not a big deal, that is available on Sony's platform. I'm going to go ahead and play Red Dead on Sony. And this is interesting because a lot of especially Microsoft, Mr. and Mrs. Grassroots themselves, okay, over there in Redmond, they feel that the whole thing is now YouTube and social media that's advertising them. So not only would they get the marketing rights for something like a Red Dead or what comes out in the future, like let's say GTA 6, they should get so you get that, then you'll get that 1 week or the goofy stuff that comes free with it or whatever comes for their fan base. And it gets the grassroots thing out because you're going to have people playing your game on that game on your console and promoting your console a week ahead of time. This is all kind of playing into, if you believe the grassroots marketing strategy that Microsoft believes in. And I was watching that, and I'm like, this guy doesn't give a crap what he plays on. He usually plays, actually, believe it, on a PC. But because Xbox had the week before on Fallout 76, he's got 5 videos, and he's got 350,000 views on all these videos because people are watching what he's doing. So what I wanted to just say was, this is something that if Microsoft's listening, okay, if you want to go the grassroots and you don't want to advertise during the NFL games and you think TV's ridiculous, Well, let me tell you something. Fine. Save your dollars and cents on TV and put it back into your marketing like you did, like you just said, Crap, what they did with GTA back in the day, and get your act together. And you need to lock down these marketing rights with these big companies, because not only do you get the marketing rights for the commercial and the branding, but you also get the exclusive content on these big YouTubers that are playing that game a week early in the case of a beta, or they're playing it because they get content a week or 30 days ahead of the competitor. This is the point, Crap. And I don't think Microsoft is getting the whole picture. I think they're only seeing half of it.
Yeah, you could be right. Hey, Butters, I hear you barking, but no.
Butters agrees with me. That's okay.
Yeah, Butters is like,
I hear you, Butters. I hear you.
Yes, he's very excitable. Hey, I agree 100%, because the one thing that Microsoft didn't take into account, or maybe they didn't when there was monetary issues there and budgetary issues. You know, you're right. Like the people that are playing Destiny on YouTube and these other places, they want to play that DLC first. Right.
Yep.
So as long as they're playing that stuff first on PlayStation, it doesn't matter how much better the Xbox One X version is. Now, I think
they want that content.
Exactly. Now, I think with the Xbox One X version of Red Dead, though, I still think we're going to see some people playing that on the X, because the 4K textures, first of all, is obviously going to run and look better. There's no PC version. So I think that, and there's no timed like strikes or content like that. You get a gun, you get a horse, like whoop-de-doo, you know what I mean? I don't think that it's really a big deal in terms of going to keep
not unless you're going to stream like circling around your horse for a while. And it's
exactly. And I know you got your cowboy hat ready, Xbot, and you're super excited. Hey, let's get to 200 likes. We still aren't there. Like, holy crap, you know, there's like almost 600 people watching, not even 200 likes. Let's see if we can't get that taken care of, will you? But yeah, you know, I'm very excited about what they're going to be doing there. Like, Foxy, what do you think? Is there anything that you want to see? Because you know, we're all different. Like, what is it that you personally would like to see at this event?
Gears of War. I want to see a lot of I mean, I don't know. A part of me wants to see a lot, but then I'm like, oh, I don't want to spoil it. So I guess a release date for Gears. Maybe they could talk a little bit more about the changes that they've done with the game or something.
Yeah.
Show a different trailer. I don't know. I just want Gears, so I don't care what it is. It could be the pop game for all I care.
You're gonna get that, I know.
But besides that, I want to see a new studio and a new game. It doesn't have to be a new IP, but a new game that nobody knows about. I just want that. That would be a nice surprise.
I would agree with Foxy 100%.
I agree 100%. You know, I think that they should talk a little bit more about Gears, because it's supposedly coming out next year. And they're taking a lot more risk. Rod Ferguson just did an interview recently and was talking about the risks that they're able to take with Gears 5 that they couldn't take with Gears 4.
Yeah, because it's already established. So it's like, okay, you know where they stand. Now they could do a lot of great things, change it up.
Yeah.
Bring some new fans in. That would be amazing.
I would just say to Foxy, I would just say, I think you're going to get a blurb. I really think, because that's one of their big boys. That's fine. Yeah. But I'm just saying it because that's one of their big boys, and they've got a lot to show, and they've got a game releasing. That's got E3 written all over it. Doesn't mean you're not going to see the fog come across the screen, the Gears logo come up, and then they just show James. But that's fine. But let me tell you something, okay? They can
show me that beautiful beard. Right? I'm ready, baby.
I still can't get that out of my head. Marcus is sitting there, right? It looks like he's drinking some kind of bourbon. He's hammered off his ass. His son opens the door. And he's like, James. But nonetheless, I think you're going to see something, and you might see that PC game come to Xbox, the tactical game.
Yes, because they're
probably.
Because there's the keyboard and mouse support.
But the stuff Foxy's talking about in depth, I think that's E3. But and it's not to deflate it, Foxy, but I think that's E3.
I think we might get something new though. Hey, Elementapino says Crackdown 3. Period.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. There goes another one where I have like ups and downs. I have a roller coaster.
I'm all over the place with that too. Fox.
Yeah, because I was like really looking forward to it. Then it disappeared. Then it came back a little bit, and I was like, ooh, but then it went away again. So I do want to see it. So it better be there. I think it is, right? They confirmed
more
that.
Crackdown 3, less Jeff Rubenstein. Go ahead.
Fact. Fact.
Hey,
I agree with this.
Hey, if we don't have Jeff, how are we gonna have somebody with that sweater, man? Come on.
I don't know. Did you see him and Major did a show today on Mixer?
I'm not watching that.
Let me tell you something. It made Inside Xbox look like The Godfather. That's how bad it was.
You know, was it missing AC? Because that could have
Bongos could have only saved it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Cardboard would have made it better.
Oh my
So-
god.
So what I wanted to talk about was Crackdown 3 a little bit. So that's a good transition. There's there's a little bit of hype. Microsoft announced it. It's going to be there supposedly. And again, don't kill the messenger.
I have mixed feelings. But yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, supposedly they're reintroducing it, quote unquote, to the fans there. There might even be a beta that they announced for this holiday for the multiplayer. According to that one guy, I forget what his name is, but he's allegedly an insider on Twitter. Said that the full multiplayer destruction is there for the Wrecking Zone stuff, which is the 5v5 stuff where you got to go destroy the other team's tower, and they're trying to destroy your tower or whatever. And apparently, Joseph Staten, you guys know him. He said that he was doing finishing a game, and he wants to say thanks to the fine folks at Sumo Digital. They're doing great work on the Crackdown campaign. So he keeps talking about Crackdown, and I think that's pretty cool. And they're talking about it, and it looks like the multiplayer is going to work how it's supposed to. That could save the game. Supposedly the campaign got a bunch more money and reworked, and allegedly as you bulk up your guy, the armor gets bigger and they turn into Terry Crews or something. I don't know, but it sounds pretty awesome, and I think that it could surprise some people. I'm not saying it's going to be game of the year or get 90 Metacritic, but I'm just saying it might not be a dumpster fire that people think.
Just don't be Recore. Thank you.
Yeah, don't be Recore. Okay. Well, be anything you want to be.
There's a shirt for you guys looking to make some money for that event.
Yes, don't be Recore.
Don't be Recore. Crackdown 3 on the back. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, I mean, Recore was one of those cheap budget games, and it probably would have been.
You know what, crap? I make a joke of it, but I'm actually kind of pissed off because let me tell you something. I like the protagonist. I love the game mechanics.
Yeah.
I like the
platforming was great, man.
The platforming was fantastic, Xbot. And I'll tell you right now, shame on Microsoft if you don't take that and throw some money at it and make that the game it should have been. And let me tell you something. That's okay. It happens in movies all the time. There's a lot of times that the sequel outdoes the original, okay? You want to come out with a Recore 2? You come out with that Recore 2, but you put a lot of money into it and give these developers the time, money, and effort that they needed and let them do that. Because let me tell you something. Crap, it's a great game, but the problem is it just looked like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's not acceptable.
Well, first of all, they used the Unity engine, right? Which is a problem.
I hate the Unity engine, man.
Hold on. Eternal Shada says, other than Obsidian, what other studios on XO18 would you like to hear that would make you dance for joy? Do you think Bethesda? No, I don't think Bethesda. I think they're going to go after some others. I think Obsidian's a foregone conclusion. And I think they're going to go after
studios. Do people like? I get that people want like the most out of Xbox and everything like that. We already got 5 studios. There's a rumor of another one, and then maybe another one after that. But like once this show is kind of once we get through this show, I really I want to like I hope everybody calms down with like, well, what studio do you think's next? Well, what studio do you think?
Yeah.
We didn't get a game out of the 5 studios that they got yet. So.
Yeah, and I think though, as far as like with the Game Pass stuff, right? And you got to have stuff that's in there constantly.
I mean, can you have too many studios? Like,
I don't think you.
I agree with Salty. Listen, here's the thing, Xbot. You have to look at where the industry is going. You've got Google and Amazon is scooping up developers. You got Google doing the stream thing right now. Xbot. It's not the same conversation we were having 6 months ago where it was like, who are they going to buy? Who knows? Maybe they'll take this. Maybe they'll buy Sony Santa Monica.
You're preaching to the choir right here, man.
Well, if I'm preaching, then well, yeah, but you were just asking the question.
But see, I'm saying this because, you know, there's people out there that are talking about these studios, but more or less they separate it from Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily know if they're all in on that subscription service.
Well,
they're like,
nobody on this panel nor those people know that. All I can tell you is this, Xbot. If I know, okay, now Sony with the money they have, we know. But if you're talking about Google and Amazon are going to start to enter the ring, Microsoft has got to do something where they can flex their muscles now and say, hey, look, we already have a console. We already have a fan base.
That's exactly
your
what they're
games and your developers will do better with us than if you went with Google or Amazon. So when you see these big names, do I get excited when they hear Bethesda is going to be owned by Xbox or EA? No. I'm not going to even say it on the show. I'm not even going to make it a pipe dream. But I will say this much. It's not out of the realm to say that it's been discussed at Microsoft to some extent.
Their process of getting studios is going to run over a certain length of time because, you know, Because we talk about Game Pass being the Netflix.
Involved Microsoft wants to get into gaming. If they want gaming to be a quarter of their business, if they're all in, how much
revenue Game Pass is making the company right now, they want that into the future.
Then you answered your own question. Then you answered
priority.
Yeah, then you answered your own question, Xbot.
Well, no, I got you, but what I'm saying is I'm taking the Game Pass out of the equation for the people talking about it out there, because for the most part they're not putting it in the equation themselves. Man, from the beginning I've been stating that Game Pass is it. They're going all in with this.
Hey, I'm having a little bit of a discussion with some of the fans in the chat. Apparently everybody loved Recore. Where was I on this? Right? Like, here's the thing. I thought it was okay at first, and then when they're like, you got to find more cores to get in there. You got to find more cores. Got to find more cores.
Crap, your argument with Recore holds a lot of water. There's your actual assessment and review is spot on. What I think people are saying with Recore is I'm reading some of it. I liked Recore, but I couldn't play the goddamn thing because it did get boring as shit. It got repetitive as shit, and it looked like shit. You know what that means? It's shit. But at the same time, they've got something. Listen, you still got something. You ever see these musicians, right? The managers? They're like, you got to beat. You got to beat. That guy can't play guitar worth shit, but you got to beat. Let's get the build on it. Let's make this thing into a record. Okay? What I'm saying is, we've got
more cowbell, baby. More cowbell.
Yeah, that's the difference between Recore and someone. When someone else puts their pants on, they're making gold records. Recore wasn't making shit. So,
hey, I have a perfect example for that too. Look no further than Rage, right? People dumped on that, said it was bad. Now
Great
look at
point,
it.
Salty.
You know,
now everybody's like, Rage is
a one-way ticket to New York, quickly. He's in the wrong state.
Now they're all like, well, we can't wait for Rage 2. Look, I thought Recore was a very interesting idea. I did like the character. I liked the whole aspect of it. They did something. I applaud them for taking that chance with there. I thought, the mechanics were a little bit clunky or whatever, and I realized they updated and the cores weren't as important. But try going back to a game like that after some of these other games, right? Because you play it and then you leave it, and then they're like, okay, well, we updated it and it's this and that. But it's like there's already a million better games out by that time, right? So it's like you had your chance. And and again, somebody said it was Microsoft's Godzilla. No, it's not that bad.
Oh my god, no.
Yes, it was nowhere near as bad as that.
Even Angry Joe could not ignore how bad the Godzilla game was, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, like Recore was unfortunately, and I know people don't believe this, Microsoft went to a point where they weren't allowed funding for a lot of stuff, and who knows how bad it got. We've kind of had discussions about this multiple times. Who knows? Right now, it's a different story, so they're able to invest and have these studios that do things. When it comes to studios, you can never have too many, and you can never have, because people always want something else. And Microsoft does have, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, Microsoft has these multi-billion-dollar franchises where Sony only has one, which is Gran Turismo, right? Where Microsoft has Minecraft, Halo, Forza, Gears. Those are all billion-dollar IPs. They've made over $1 billion. So they have to have those type of IP factories, but you also need other stuff too, and new stuff. And that's what they're investing in. That's why I think it's important to get many more studios. And I think the Initiative is going to do something that's killer. And I think that Ninja Theory is probably working on a couple different things. And I think Playground's obviously working on a couple different things.
I think the Initiative and Playground are your real, they're going to be AAA if they're not. I mean, Playground's already AAA, but I mean, like that's your AAA status. And the other ones are what Xbot's talking about, where Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, etc., are going to kind of fall into Game Pass and be AA.
I got to say, though, with Ninja Theory, let's be real. They made the Devil May Cry reboot, DMC. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Whenever you have Xbox podcast, there's always a mystery sound in the background. It's great. I like the guess. I play the show back later, and I have everybody have different guesses, and we real
that was a Kamehameha. That is the sound of my son's special ringtone when he calls me. And of course, it went off at the proper time. But
that's great.
When it comes to Ninja Theory, they can make awesome games. Like, I wasn't into Hellblade. I will say that, but
me either. It was beautiful.
I liked it.
You could be a fan of a developer and not like a game they came out with, but like I've been with them since like Kung Fu Chaos. Yeah. DMC was one of my favorite games last gen, and then they put it into Game Pass, the definitive edition this generation, and I've played a crap of that again. So they have a chance to be right up there with Initiative and Playground. They can be used kind of like as the in-between. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely see that for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, and that's the one that's going to make PlayStation fans the saltiest. Because, you know, everybody's like, you sold out, you did this, you know, we wanted this, we wanted that, you know what I mean? And so now we're seeing, you know, Microsoft was able to kind of, and the salt could continue, right? Like you see people when the Obsidian stuff comes up, they're like, now I hate Obsidian. Like, why would you hate Obsidian now, right? Like, look, if somehow Sony were to buy Insomniac Games, am I going to hate Insomniac Games now? Of course not. That's ludicrous. But if it was the other way around and Microsoft were to buy them, then imagine the shitstorm we'd get from the media, from the YouTubers, from just gamers in general. They would be all over that. That's this big double standard that goes on nowadays. And that's unfortunately, you know, the chat is something today. I tell you what. I just saw something that
they are fired up right now.
Hey, real quick, can I talk about Crackdown? Because
yes, please talk about Crackdown, man.
All right, so I've been at the forefront. Like we all got tired of hearing about Crackdown and hearing a delay and hearing all this negative news. And I was one of the major people out there that said, please don't talk about this shit until it's ready to come out. Yeah. And my hype level could not be any lower a couple months back. But honestly, with like Clobrill or whatever that guy's name is on Twitter, the way he's talking about it, he's had inside knowledge and inside scoops. The way he's talking about it and the way other people are talking about it, what I saw from the single player, I love Terry Crews. The dude could put on a hell of a commercial when it comes to, you know, Old Spice. He hypes me up when I see him. I can't wait to.
In fact, you bought Old Spice strictly because of him, right?
Yes. And then I can't wait. I love a good comeback story, guys. You guys ever see the movie Rudy? A good comeback story, right? This is video games. We shouldn't ever wish a game to fail, right? We shouldn't wish a game to be canceled and all that stuff. I think that's all like just, you know, trolls and fanboys or whatever. So I want Crackdown to be that comeback story. I want them to be at XO. They show the multiplayer. They're like, bam, blow people's pants off and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's
exactly. See, and you were a person that was like, just like the rest of us that were like, hey, you know, like you shouldn't talk, but I am like you too, right? Because I low key like the game and like the Crackdown series. So obviously like you got to take a back seat a little bit because you're like, you know, that they really overextended themselves on it. And it's a bad look. I admit that, right? It's not as bad as say The Last Guardian, because that was like, you know, 9 years or whatever it was. It's not as bad as say Nihon, which was like 10 years, you know, but it's still bad. You know, anytime you go 4 to 5 years and from the end, that's why you got to be careful when you announce this stuff. If this game would have got announced, you know, 2 years ago, nobody would say anything, you know, if it had, or even 3 years ago and it got a couple delays, I don't think people would say nearly as much. But I guess, you know, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm excited to see what they actually are able to pull off with this game. And I am excited, just like you, because I see this guy hyping this stuff up on Twitter and he seems like he's in the know because he's saying some pretty interesting things that nobody's really said yet. And then you hear Microsoft kind of, you know, confirm it as well. Yobi Dren says Shadow and Banjo are rumored to be in Smash Brothers, and also Microsoft confirms Game Pass expanding to PC. Well, yeah, I mean, we figured that Game Pass would be expanding the PC, which is weird though because there's 360 games on there or whatever. But I'm not really sure. But yeah, the Banjo stuff is pretty cool because Phil Spencer, I think even a couple years ago, said he would love for Nintendo to use those characters in Smash Brothers. I think that's a pretty cool thing of them to do. Yep. You know, I'm getting the game in December. I like Smash Brothers, so you know. For me though, like I very rarely talk about the Nintendo stuff on here because most people that come here don't really care. So it's like, you know, it's true. Like I like the Switch and I think it's cool and I have one and I've got a bunch of games for it. I play it about 1% of the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's just so much stuff to play on Xbox and you know, so yeah, but that is pretty cool.
What do you think Xbox is going to get in return though for that if that happens? You know, like it's kind of you scratch my back, I scratch yours, because it's not like you just give up some of the rights that you have, like, hey, we're gonna go put Banjo on Smash for free, you know, like it's kind of a give take situation. I'm wondering what they're gonna get in return.
I'll be honest with you, that's a great question. That's a great business question. I'll be honest with you. I don't think think they have anybody at the table at Microsoft that actually have the balls to say what you just said, Saul. So I think honestly, I don't think they do. I think they're going to go ahead and look at it the other way around. Let me spin it, even though I agree with you, Salt. I think what they're going to say is this thing's going to sell quadrillions of copies, and they're more than happy to put their product out there, especially when they've got a Banjo game possibly coming out. So it's already linked to Xbox and say, oh, wow, Xbox has got a presence on Nintendo. Blah, blah, blah. And that's going to give them some press. So they're going to look at it as, hey, Nintendo's actually going to say to them, and the pitch is going to be, hey, give us the rights to Banjo, and guess what? You get to actually be on our console. And Microsoft's going to be like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. So I think that's what you're going to get, because I don't think you're going to get anything in return. I truly, truly don't. And I think that Phil is going to be okay with that. I really do. I think he's going to be like, that's fine. You take that. That's fine. Because realistically, let's call a spade a spade. They're going to get press for it. They're going to get recognition for it. It's going to put the Xbox and Nintendo relationship closer together than it already did, because they were the first to do the crossplay thing together. Yeah, console-wise. So it makes them look like they're unified. And for Phil, that may just be value enough. But if I'm working for Microsoft, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to be at the table wanting something else.
Hey, Dark Saint says Phil Spector should wear a tutu at E3 and sing. Phil Spector's in jail right now, my friend. Maybe you should look it up. Like, I know probably most people won't even know who Phil Spector was. Yeah, but I mean, come on. Yeah, here's the thing, though, right? You're right, Mooch. What happens if they do have a new Banjo-Kazooie? And here's the funny thing. There's that place that's making Banjo-Kazooie toys now, or whatever, the collectibles or whatever they are. So that would be a great way to advertise a new Banjo-Kazooie, right? So you have them in Smash Brothers and you do it. I saw Yobi Dren said he'd like to see like Master Chief or something in Smash Brothers. I wouldn't. That's one place where I would disagree. No. The reason why I wouldn't was because Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix and those guys are M-rated stuff. Keep them with like the more the pop thing, I guess, is okay because it's going to be a phone thing. But keep them in that. Like you had the General Rom in
Killer Instinct. Oh my god, that was awesome.
And they did that well, but I'm not sure that they fit in with it's me, Mario. Like I don't know. I know, right? It was. So yeah, I don't know if it really fits in well with there. Just like in PlayStation Battle Royale or All Stars Battle Royale, whatever the hell that name was. I actually liked that game, but you had Kratos in there, and it didn't. Oh my god,
there was a Sackboy in there too. I was like, what?
Yeah, Sackboy was in there.
Sackboy versus Kratos.
Yes, it was like it was a fun game.
Just picture that fight real quick. Just first thing.
And they had like Ratchet and Clank, and they had the guy. It was a fun game. No, I actually liked that better than some of the Smash Brothers games because it was easier for me. Everybody knows I suck at games, and so stuff that's easy, really, really cool.
Crapgamer.
I know you're crap at games. Crap, you played Spider-Man on friendly mode. You suck. Yeah, man. Like you totally suck. You played it on friendly mode, man. What a fraud, right? Like, come on, man. Hey, I beat Tomb Raider on the easiest mode too, but I still beat it, didn't I? That's right. How many of you guys can say you beat God of War, Spider-Man, Tomb Raider already this year? Probably not many. I'm just saying.
I got to ask you a question. Everybody else on the panel, just off topic, because I believe this is a gaming podcast.
OT. Go ahead, man.
We talk gaming. There's a game I found on Game Pass called Sinner, Sacrifice for Redemption. Oh my God. Have you guys seen this? This game looks sick, yeah.
Don't get me started on that game.
Salty did not like it. No, he did not like it.
Hold on, let me pay this bill real quick. Let me pay. Gamer M says last Xbox NPD was September 2016. That was the last time I enjoyed some mayonnaise goodness too.
Let's not get back into the dairy.
But go ahead, Salty. Tell us why you don't like this. Tell us why you don't like this.
Looks amazing, man.
Just real quick, it does look amazing. The way that the graphics look nice, but like I said, sometimes graphics and the way it looks, it doesn't help the gameplay. It's clunky, it's glitchy. I'm a big Dark Souls fan as well as Mooch. Some of the best aspects to the Dark Souls series is being able to progress through the levels and fight enemies and work your way up to the boss. What happened?
I hear boom, boom, boom. Somebody's mic.
That was me. I have this really cool arm that I got, but unfortunately, when it moves, it makes a little bit of noise. So my bad.
Okay. So Yeah, it's basically a boss rush style thing, and the fights are pretty clunky. There's some weird things that happen, and then when you beat a boss, you get these like disadvantages. Like in Dark Souls, when you beat a boss, you get armor and some cool shit.
Yeah, you get levels like taken away.
Yeah, it almost punishes you for beating these bosses. So like the further and further you get into the game and the bosses, because it's just like a boss battle, right? You go from one thing to another, and it's so frustrating too. Because like in Dark Souls, if I get killed, it was my fault, right? I didn't know a certain swing was coming, or I made a mistake. In this game, you get killed by some dumb shit. I'm not gonna, and that's what's the most frustrating. But some people like it. I don't.
That's the hard part. And I haven't played it, but I've watched.
But you can try it if you have
Game Pass, you can try it, right?
Yeah, try it out. Try it out.
Yeah, but well, that's like saying, you know what? There's a guy down the street. He's handing out onion sandwiches. It tastes like shit, but you can try it for free.
Sure.
No, I'm not saying that about that game. I'm just saying in general.
We all know I don't like onions, so yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a bad example, but it worked out for you.
I just think like the like how they're doing the story, like you said, they're taking away stats every time you beat a boss, and the whole thing about that is like you're trying to save your soul and do right by the souls that you hurt while you were alive. Therefore, as you progress, it's literally going to get tougher for you. Instead of having your stats, it's going to take one away. Are you going to prove yourself to be worthy to justify the wrongs you did while you're alive? I think that's a cool premise.
The premise is cool because they wanted to stand out in the market, because tons of people are doing Souls-like games, so they have to have something that's different, or they'll just be an exact carbon copy.
What was the other game Salt, that I played it as well. And I'm just drawing a blank out. You did a great review on it. It just came out recently.
Hollow Knight is
no. The other one where you die a million times. Dark Souls. Dead Cells. Yeah. And Dead Cell. Look, here's the problem. Listen, guys, this is what we talked about early in the generation. We got to kind of talk about it again. The problem is that you've got all these indie developers, and any indie game that you guys all end up liking ends up being like, you know why I liked it? It reminds me of Dark Souls and this. And it's like, how about you indie guys? How about you guys? Exactly. How about you indie guys actually get what I call creative again? You guys are all like, what's his name there? Every indie developer right now reminds me of Vanilla Ice. They're all taking, right? And the problem is that's not your song. That was crap. Remind me here. You're the musician guy. Is that Sting's song from back in the day?
So it's Queen.
So basically,
it was Queen.
Queen with
David Queen. My fault. So Queen, right? Pressure. They sued him. They won. So like all these indie games, whenever I hear about it, people are like, oh my God, this indie game is amazing, Mooch. You got to play it. It's just like Dark Souls. And I'm like, so should I play the AAA version of it that I already own? No, Mooch. You really should play this one. It's great. It's great.
It's great.
How about you indie guys get back to something called creativity and become the game that you're supposed to, like. That's why I think Ninja Theory is who they are. What they did with Hellblade was unique, and it was interesting. And
you're no longer the Italian M&M. You're the Italian Vanilla Ice.
No, I'm actually the M&M. I'm the Italian M&M making fun of Vanilla Ice. That's right. And Eminem did make fun of Vanilla Ice for being the other white rapper that was never a rapper.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to my story. So what I'm saying to you is that these guys are absolutely, they're awful. And realistically, I have a problem playing some of these indie games, because the minute I see that, you got to play this indie game, it's just like, the minute you say it's just like, I'm out.
Well, isn't that
just like I say out?
Just like out. What about Ashen? I mean, aren't you interested in that game?
Well, I haven't seen enough about it.
I've watched a lot about Ashen, and it does vary enough to separate itself. Like the art style is completely different. The way you travel around, I'm not going to get into it, but the way it works, basically, when you're comparing it to like the best of the best when it comes to the genre, you're talking about Dark Souls. It's like going to a really good steak place, getting that juicy T-bone, top of the line, you eat it, and then you get a free steak, tastes like shit. It's dry, right? You just don't want to eat it. It's even if it's steak and it's free, it's kind of like this game, they slapped it in the Game Pass. It's the indie developer. When you compare it to some of these bigger games, you better come up to the plate and hit a home run, or it's just not going to work out. So
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and but hey, good thing is that Microsoft has announced. What did they? They announced some pretty interesting stuff. Like for the first time, they're really kind of doing the right thing with their with the sales and stuff, right? So they announced that they're having this big Halloween sale on some games, and then they actually added some themed games to Game Pass, including Outlast, Hello Neighbor, Observer, and Dead Island Riptide, which I thought was pretty cool because usually they're pretty oblivious to this stuff, right? And to see them actually come out and do this, I thought was pretty cool. Maybe what do you guys think about this, Mooch? Are you all in on that stuff? You like scary games?
Which game is it, Crap? I'm talking.
Well, they've added to Game Pass Outlast, Hello Neighbor, Observer.
Yeah, no. Listen, this is something that I think there's a lot of games. First of all, that's a service. So Microsoft's putting that service in the Game Pass and putting the scary games out there. I think that's great. This is the season to do that. You're in October. You should be doing that.
Yeah, smart.
No Man's Sky has a free update for everybody to enjoy some Halloween stuff. You've got what do you call it there? Destiny, of course, doing it. They do it. They've done it every other year. You've got what's the other one there? Now I'm drawing a blank on it, but
Overwatch. Gears, they're all doing Halloween events.
They're all doing a Halloween event. This is
I think COD too.
Take advantage of that. I don't know if COD's doing it, but
yeah, I think so.
Destiny 2 has the best Halloween stuff so far.
Oh, here we go. What do they got, bot?
They have something called the Haunted Forest, and
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically you have 15 minutes. You go into the Haunted Forest. They have a gauge. Every time you beat up to 100% of the enemies that are in this kind of procedurally generated area, it's like a labyrinth, right? Every time you get to 100%, you get brought over, teleported to a boss fight. And now they want to see how many branches you can go, how deep you can go into it in that 15 minutes. And it becomes
like different waves.
Yeah, it becomes incredibly addicting. Like you get to like wave 7 and you're like, yo, if we didn't mess up over there on branch number 3 or whatever, we could have definitely made like 3 more levels. Let's go back in. And they have there's an auto rifle that you can get with kind of like the currency that's in there that you basically win every time you complete a 15-minute run. It's called Fragmented Souls, and it takes about 120 to get this special auto rifle. It's got a unique skin on it. It's got a couple quality perks to it. And if you own Forsaken, it drops at the highest power level and comes completely masterworked already.
Yeah, so 600, and you could use it on any character, even if it's a lower level. You could switch it, and you could have it with another character to help him level up.
And they have Halloween masks of characters, enemies, and allies that you can collect.
Kitty Cat Ghost. I want Kitty Cat Ghost.
Oh, the Kitty Cat Ghost. Yeah, they have ghost shells. They have sparrows. They have spaceships. They have limited edition shaders. There's just so much content in there. And they have what they call bounties. So you can get fragmented souls by going in like with your Halloween mask and going into like strikes and nightfalls and the Crucible and like winning matches and competing in there. So there's a lot of stuff to kind of keep the game like fresh over the holiday season. It's really cool, man.
That sounds terrible, but
dang.
I'm sorry. Hey, but we can talk a little bit about this Destiny 3 rumor that popped up.
Let's do that.
So there's a noted Destiny leaker, and he's dropped word that Bungie has begun work on Destiny 3. The new game will take Guardians to Europa, the moon of Jupiter that's previously seen in Destiny concept art, and will put a greater focus on RPG elements and hardcore play than the previous games. The leaking began late last week when someone said that a solid base version of Destiny 3 should already be operational. The development is starting right now, apparently. The game director, Luke Smith, said that in a big role. A couple days later, they went all in, posting a photo of Europa with "Can't wait." We'll have the ability to use darkness, basically the opposite of the light power.
Yes.
And at least some open world areas will feature PvPvE combat, according to this leak. Said that it won't be like the Dark Zone in the Division, describing it more about it like a fight for territory, where PvP, it's there for a reason and not for griefing the heck out of people.
They kind of did that already in a small way with Gambit, right? So
yeah. Yeah, so it also says they dug down deep a bit on how Destiny 3 will be aimed at a very different audience than Destiny 2. Destiny 2 Vanilla was Bungie's idea from the beginning. The reboot didn't change that. The game was born to be for casuals. If Destiny 3 will really have the idea they want to implement, a lot of Guardians who play 2 hours a week will abandon the game. They're going balls out with RPG stuff. Just know that D3 will be even more hardcore than Forsaking, and finally they're going to push the RPG side of the game. So,
my goodness,
how does that feel for you, you Destiny people?
Dude, I am psyched for that. Like we saw, like you said, Vanilla Destiny 2 was made for like a casual market for people who didn't get into D1. Maybe they'll pick this up, they'll play it, they'll enjoy it. You know, you got exotics dropping left and right. Everything is pretty much handed to you. And to be honest with you, that's what got me into Destiny 2 because I didn't play Destiny 1. But once I got used to that, I wanted something more, and they came out with Forsaken, and I'm into that grind now. It's not everything being handed to you. There's quests here, there's quests there. Do you want to go for this exotic?
There's people out there, Bob, and you got to kind of take a segment and do a pause because I know what you're talking about. There's a lot of people, Crap being one of them. They don't. It's not that they don't get it. They don't necessarily dig the grind, and myself personally, I've taken a good month and a half break, and I'm getting a lot of shit from my girl Luca.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And don't get me wrong, and listen, I deserve that right now, but the reason I like Destiny so much is because I know that I can always go back to it, and I can grind hard for 2-3 weeks and catch up to my friends, and I will.
Well, Mooch, check this out. Next Tuesday, they are an exotic quest is coming because of the Halloween event, where they're bringing the Thunderlord LMG back to the game.
For
the Thunderlord.
Fourth time.
Wow,
is it fifth time this time? It's
what happened?
Thunderlord.
It's the fifth time they're bringing that gun back, right? Or sixth?
No.
Well, yeah, but you know what though? But Salty, I get your stick there, but the thing about it is,
take it away, put it back in, take it away.
Yeah, but
it hasn't been in Destiny 2, man.
It's what we all do, right? I mean, heck, McDonald's did like gift cups every 3 years. Like, oh, you didn't get the Michael Jordan gift cup? You got to go there and get a supersize this week only.
Supersize,
right? Get a supersize to get the Michael Jordan cup from the 1996 Olympic team. And it's like,
my dream team.
And I mean, realistically, I get what Salty's saying, and I think it's actually a good pun, but that's the thing. If you're involved in this world, and I'm a victim. I'm a victim of this. I have not taken advantage of some of the times they have these things come back. And then when it comes back and I'm like, oh shit, I missed that 2 years ago, I'm in. And that's how you kind of keep the community lured always back in, by bringing these things back. These things where they're in the game and then they're gone and then you play with your, I mean, don't get me wrong, it might not mean anything to you, and I get that. But I mean, I dig that. I can dig that. Like right now there's the Whisper, right? Everyone I play Destiny with has the damn Whisper. Well, guess who does it? Move!
You.
I don't have it. And you can only get it on weekends. And weekends, between all kinds of family shit and things going on, and then you're playing the new games that come out, and like Crap says, he'll put this control. Me too. I'll put down a single-player game and play a multiplayer game any day. So when people are like, hey, Mooch, we're playing Blackout, guess what? I'm Lord. I'm like,
I'm like that too, man. I get a message. Hey, want to hop on some Black Ops 4?
And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I can't wait. Here I am telling the whole family, oh, I can't wait to get into Assassin's Creed. Hey, Mooch, want to play some Blackout? Assassin who? And it's like, and it's like, so my point being is that, like, so all of a sudden I go and do that, and then I don't do the other, and it's like I'm still trying. Now the fact that the Whisper is still available every weekend, still kind of a neat little thing. But when they bring these little things back, these nuances, these little nichey things, if you're into the lore and you're into the realm, I get where people kind of get excited for that. And that's what makes Destiny unique for us gamers that are console folks. We haven't had anything like this where it's like what you just said, Salty, was actually something that kind of sparked my interest on that gun. It's like to say, wow, I want to do this because I wasn't really involved that much either in the early parts of Destiny 1, and when they took it away, I didn't get a chance to get it.
And check this out, Mooch. The mission actually takes place in the Cosmodrome from D1.
Not the Cosmodrome.
The Cosmodrome, Crap. Aren't you excited now?
Crabby chiming in. I love it.
Yes. Wow.
A lot of the stuff that Crap was like pointing out, or that is rumored to be, or whatever the case would be, a leak or whatever, it's interesting. But a part of me is like, too good to be true, so I'd rather wait and see. Also, I didn't hear anything mentioned about lore, and that's one of the things about Destiny 1 that went from non-existent to amazing lore that they had. Yeah, some of it was outside of the game, which was annoying with the Grimoire cards, but if they could put all that stuff in the game, I think they would have a hit.
It's all in the game now when it comes to lore.
When it comes to 2, I still have mixed feelings, and actually, when it comes to Destiny in general, I just have like that love and hate because when 2 came out, I liked what they had with the campaign, and I thought that was interesting, but everything else to me was boring. And then now they finally added all this extra stuff for me to do to grind and catch up with my friends. But then after this, then what? You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, but there is a story kind of unfolding now with Forsaken.
Yeah.
There's kind of like this time loop thing that you have to try to break. All right.
Yeah.
And
I finished it. I really like where it ended up.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I think
so. That's the thing about Destiny that I like. Yeah, the grinding is good. Getting all these extra exotics or doing these extra quests to get specific weapons or gear. That's cool. But the lore is what I care more about. I want to know what's up with the storyline.
Fox, I got to say, the one thing that Crap said that really sparks my interest with Destiny 3 is being able to use the darkness. Now, I know you're following, the story here.
Yep.
The Queen Mara is basically yelling at us as much as we're helping her. Like, she said that she would, like, take out the Traveler if she had a chance and stuff like that. Like, there's this whole good versus evil thing. So to be able to use the kind of like the powers of the dark side, like if you have a guardian and you got to like choose if you're going to be on the side of the light or if you're going to be on the side of the dark. I mean, can you imagine like the exotic armaments and stuff like that you're going to be able to get to support kind of like the dark side powers and stuff? That's why I'm like, yo, this could be absolutely amazing, or it could be complete crap.
Yeah, depends how they do it. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with this.
Could be. As thrilling as this is, guys, I mean,
we should move on. Like,
yeah, I mean, we
tomatoes thrown at me here, man.
We can move on a bit because like we got to give people a little bit of a break. There could be some people with weak hearts out there, and that's too much excitement for them. So let's.
That's understandable. definitely understandable right there.
That little mooch laugh. What the?
Crap knows it.
Yeah, that's
all too well.
Okay, so hey, look, you know what Microsoft did is weird. They took off the sticker on their Xbox One, so they're no longer shipping with stickers.
About fucking time. I wish they'd also get rid of the vertical.
Hell yeah!
Take that vertical stand and shove that up someone else's. I don't have enough room on my desk. Buy a new desk.
I tried to give my vertical stand to O Snaps. I was like, "Do you want that? You might be able to use." She's like,
"I wish it could be used as a boomerang or a frisbee, something else you could do with the goddamn thing."
My vertical stand is still in the box.
Yeah, leave it in the box.
I have like 3 of them. They're in the box.
Yeah, mine's like I don't know. It's like maybe when I was younger, it was cool to have like a. I used to put my 360 on the side, right?
Your console is a stately looking artifact, okay? That's in your house.
Yeah, they're more.
You stick it up like a fan that was made by Dyson. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, look, they blend in more nowadays, right? But you can imagine, like when you're younger or whatever, like those look like consoles. You know what I mean? And so people like to have them vertically. I'm not about the verticality anymore.
I don't get the younger thing.
Well. Dude, like people used to really go all in for that stuff, like when you're younger. I know it's hard for you. When
you're younger, you used to slide it into that crevice in your wall. Like
no, people used to have it. Like, didn't anybody here used to have theirs vertically? Like Fox, did your 360 sit vertically?
Not anymore, but yeah.
When you were younger, it did, right?
Yeah, I like balancing the disc into the tray just so right. Just hoping when I get back to my chair, it doesn't fall out and crunch into the actual arm. What are we talking about?
Listen.
You guys ever hear something called gravity? Go ahead.
I do. But check this out, right? So I had a fat PS3 that was vertical as well.
Yep.
And I had the Xbox 360 that
right
was vertical. The reason why, the reason why I had the 360 vertical was so that it could get proper ventilation. If you used to put those things horizontal, a lot of times they'd end up red ringing on you or whatever to get too hot. So like if you kept them vertical, like they would give you less issues and things like that. So that's why like I did it. Plus just the way I think back then, after I had a CRT TV still when I got my 360 originally, right? So I was gaming 360 on a tube on like a old school TV. Now when I upgraded and got a plasma screen, flat screen, 2007 was when I did that. Then I think I started doing stuff, sitting them a little bit vertically because you had more. Yeah, I had more room for that kind of stuff, right?
I just think it depends on if you're sitting on a desk, if you're sitting in your TV area, like. It just depends on how much room you got. So whatever, to each their own, I guess.
I will say with my 360, at one point in time when I first got my first HD television, it was flat screen. I put it up vertical and I literally put it behind the TV and had the tray sticking out to the point where like you didn't really see my 360, but like I would reach around and open the tray. Yes, I said reach around.
The reach around.
See, I said it before anybody could do it. Yeah. But yeah, I had because I thought it looked kind of like slick that way. But
I've done both, but laying it down flat, that's the best way it is.
There's a lot of people. Listen, there's a lot of people that like to do stuff just so that they look different. So they put their vertical like console stand up. They're like, oh, it looks different. So so like I'm different. You know what I mean? Right?
Wow.
Like, it is. It's
yes, Mooch. Yes, Mooch. Some people like to redo their setup. I am one of those people.
Some people like to look different because they're different. Like it's fine. You want to be different. That's fine. My point is like it's a horizontal. The box and Crap's whole thing with the heating thing. I'll take that shit and throw it right out the window too.
Oh,
because what he's talking about, because the hard on the 360, the hard drive was on one side. Okay,
was on the top,
right? And no, it was on the left-hand side.
No,
and
that's
on the right-hand side was a vent. So you can only lay it on the flat side, which is the vent. So you actually blocked a lot of the air coming out of one side of your 360.
No, you put it up vertical and it worked much better. A lot of people used to put theirs.
I had my 360 horizontal. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
I know. I understand what you're saying. Listen. A lot of people used to put theirs on the floor on carpet. And that was very idiotic.
All right.
No.
Don't put it under a blanket, folks. This just in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I got to tell you what, man. I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you, when I was younger, when I was let me think, 2005.
When he was but a young man.
Yeah, 82, 92, 2000, 23.
Yeah.
I was a spry young 23-year-old. And
he had a pep in his step.
I did. I had a little pep in my step. And yeah, and so I had my, like I said,
hey, everybody this just in. If you guys are making toast tomorrow, go ahead and feel free to lay your fucking toaster down horizontally. Because you know what? It can do that. And you know what else it can do when it's pointing at you in the wintertime if you're on the East Coast? It also keeps you warm. There's a lot of different things you can do with your toaster.
You gotta lay it down on your carpet, man.
We got PlayStation for that.
You gotta lay it down.
Ridiculous. Yes, like everyone that does it just stands it up vertically, takes a picture. It's like everybody's thumb with old school games. Everybody takes a picture.
I feel like Mooch is calling me out. Are you calling me out, Mooch?
No, I actually like your thumb. I'm a big fan of Foxy's thumb. My whole thing is this. I don't get this. Everybody's like, I got it. It is. It's very nice. I like it when you do the manicure and you do the actual French thing. No, listen. All right, getting back to the vertical thing. Here's my whole thing. The thing about this, guys, is like everyone's doing it. And they're doing it, and they're like, Mooch, I need room on my desk. Meanwhile, they've got like 8 or 5 feet to the left. And I'm like, there's nothing going on over there. What do you have crammed on your desk that you can't put this thing down for? And if you have that kind of problem, take a second before your game and clean your goddamn desk.
Oh,
right? Take the McDonald's off the side of it that you've had there for 2 weeks that's still in the shot. Like, I don't understand it.
Mooch, stop yelling at them. Mooch, stop yelling at them.
Crap, you need to get these guys that are yelling off your show.
I know.
I think the fact of the matter is I think everybody's kind of lost their mind. This is an option. It's a nice option. But especially if you're someone that likes to put the actual physical disc into your unit, it's ridiculous. It's just the whole thing doesn't feel right. It's like you can drink a beer standing on one foot, but you don't do it. You don't do it because it just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're off kilter. It doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Not done.
I don't. Well, like Salty, did you have yours vertically or no?
What are we talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
your Xbox 360, man, was it vertical?
Vertical, horizontal. Who gives a shit? Yeah, am I right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're right, Salty. That's I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this. He's right.
Am I right?
And the whole thing stemmed from the whole like sticker thing. Like, I mean, honestly, if you have your sticker still on your Xbox, then I hope you still have your tag on in your shirt. Like, it looks ridiculous. It looks absolutely ridiculous. Take it off the goddamn thing.
Oh man. Oh,
Agreed.
that's really.
Crappy, I'm gonna go to your house. I'm gonna take all the stickers.
I
out
got
of
the
your
sticker.
console.
Hey, I still got the sticker on my fat OG Xbox One.
I'm coming over.
Even though-
Take it off. And what the hell do you
Rip it
still
off.
have that for?
It's just in the box in the closet. So
That's great.
Like a
That's-
band-aid, just rip it off.
I'm not ripping it off. And then the one on my Scorpio Edition Xbox One X, it looks beautiful. I'm never taking it off.
Yeah, it looks
And-
great.
It's right
And-
over
and
the
Phil-
word Scorpio.
and Phil Spencer, man, that's dirty pool right there, man. Dirty pool. Getting rid of that, like, oh
You
man,
take
that's
the
just-
waist and length sticker off the side of your left pant leg on your jeans, or do you leave that on when you go down the store? Well, you want everyone to know that they're new and what size you wear.
Well,
don't
yeah,
like,
I mean,
what
you,
the
hey,
hell's
you
going
leave.
on?
Hey, do you leave the thing on your hat though? Right, the little.
I do.
No, I don't.
I do.
Some people
Oh,
do.
no.
I do.
Some people
No.
do.
That's
No.
a meat thing right there. But crap, guess what? You saw I think Xbox Pope made a
He did.
1X for you. Like he did a design.
It was actually a really cool design.
It was just
That was
all
funny.
it was all the sticker, just completely like
Oh
sticker
man,
farm. Yeah. So that's for you
It
right
did look pretty cool. It was stickers kind of smothered all over it, crap, as like a design. It was kind of cool.
oh wow, that sounds like the
That's
perfect
hilarious.
crap gamer console right there. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And it only comes with easy mode when it comes to games.
Well, let me
so-
just-
Oh, low blow.
Only plays easy.
oh man,
That's actually a great
that's-
selling marketing thing, crap.
That's cold blooded
Right?
too, man.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
That's that's not. That's
I'm sorry,
not.
I've been
right,
hanging
man.
around with K Mega. I've been hanging around with K Mega a lot lately, and
You can
know,
tell, man. Come on, man.
Salty says in the chat, Salty goes, the word stickers triggering me. It triggers me if you haven't noticed. I'm with you, Salt.
Okay. Well, okay. I mean, look, Red Dead comes out in 2 days. What's the Metacritic prediction? Even if you're not into this type of game, you got to admit that this game's gonna do. Here's the
Wait,
thing,
wait, wait.
too. Yeah.
Yes, that Metacritic.
Metacritic,
Woo!
That is. I mean, yeah. Guess that Metacritic. You know, I'm very interested because I know some people like Foxy. You don't give two craps about this game. I know Xbot. He already has it pre-ordered, so he's definitely getting. He's got a cowboy hat. He's got. His little, he's like that. He's like that guy from Happy Gilmore where he's using the little horse thing, like slapping his butt. Like,
Do not lie to the fine.
okay, yes, you hate cowboy stuff. But here's the thing. This is the thing, and I think the game's going to score really well.
Yeah.
The game's launching without its multiplayer component, so it's not even launching as a full game, which I think is. Don't you guys think that's a little bit odd that this thing's probably going to get like a 97?
The last
Metacritic?
the last GTA did the same thing, and I believe it did not get penalized at all
No.
Yeah.
for not having the online component. So no, it's not going to get hurt whatsoever.
Not going to get hurt at all.
Yeah,
actually.
I'm predicting a 97 myself, just because I think that's
I'm
probably
going
on
to
par.
say. I'm going to say 95. And,
Dude, you took my number. You can't.
Oh, sorry.
do
No, well, Xbox. We're in the Northeast. You could share it with me. But listen, there's not many of us.
95.1.
Right? He must win both showcase showdowns. I think 95. If I'm not mistaken, I believe God of War got a 94. Right?
I believe so. Yes.
I think it's gonna. I think that's the media's way of saying it's kind of a tip of the cap of respect to God of War and say it beat it by one. Not they're not gonna blow it out of the water. I think 95 is where it'll kind of end up. I think the game is going to be absolutely stellar, and the main reason are not the stuff you're reading about, not the stuff that's coming out from Rockstar, definitely not the stuff that's coming out of Kotaku. But like I think that when you see what like Alana, who was formerly with IGN, now she's with Funhouse. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I kind of wish she stayed with IGN. And right,
she brought some class to Funhouse. Man.
Hey,
Yeah.
you were complaining about IGN the other day, bro. That's all.
no,
I have to say.
IGN's got a new fix, girl. That's all I'm saying, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But nonetheless,
She's no Naomi. I'll say that.
she's much better than Naomi. But that's a
I
different
wouldn't say that.
conversation.
I
You
would
can-
not say that.
You don't have to say it. I said it.
Yeah, but you were always in the non-Naomi camp. to begin-
Listen, Naomi's great. Okay, she's great. But this girl trumps Naomi. There's no way around it.
Hmm.
There's no way around it. But I think that what you're going to see here is that you're going to see that like something like what Alana said is that she went into the game and she had expectations that were too high. And usually when anyone starts any kind of segment like that, you're like, uh-oh, what's next? And she goes, I came out and they blew my expectations out of the water. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of wording I need to hear from somebody that plays games 24/7. Yeah. And I respect Alana. I think Alana's one of the better journalists this generation. A lot of the nonsense.
She's a great journalist for sure.
She's great. She plays the game.
Yeah.
She gives a fair opinion on it, and she talks about the game. You know, that's the problem. Opinion is always part of a review.
I wonder why she's not at IGN anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. She's like, can I actually say what I want? No, you can't. Okay, never mind. I'll go somewhere else. But like that's the thing. She doesn't. So when she gives her review, I really kind of dig that. So, anyways, long story longer is I think that she really, really nailed it. And that's something that you guys all have to take home with that, is that this game is going to far exceed your expectations. And I think that's why it will win Game of the Year, and that's why it will win Metacritic Score of the Year, and I think it'll get that 95.
Check this out. After hearing Mooch and his valuable words of wisdom, I am going to change my score now. Wow. 98.
Holy.
98 is where it's going, people.
Wow. Mooch better go to Funhouse tomorrow. All right, good. Yeah.
I'm saying a 98, and I'm still completely comfortable that I will not have this game. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Salty, what do you think, man?
Hey, just if you guys were curious, I know you are. The highest rated Metacritic game is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and that was a 99. Woo! So I think, what was it? The last Zelda, Breath of the Wild, was a 98. So I'm guessing a 97. That's kind of a safe point there. Metacritic scores, it's hard to, keep them up there, but I think they have the pedigree. Like one of the other top 5 highest rated games of all time was GTA. So they have the pedigree already. Yep. And then once this game comes out, it's going to do well. 97.
Nice. So me and Salty are at the 97 camp. Foxy, I know you're not interested in this game, but what is your prediction for the Metacritic?
95? I don't know.
I'd like to go on record as saying this is the shittiest fall holiday of Fox's life. She doesn't like Blackout. You don't like Blackout, you don't like Red Dead.
How dare you, sir?
Like, what are you looking forward to?
Battlefield.
Yeah, there you go. Battlefield, Mooch. How do you feel now?
You said Battlefield, and I literally saw a dumpster fly by me on fire.
That's fine. You don't got to play it.
No, I know.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I would also like to go on.
And I've been playing, and I'm going to look. Actually, I have to pick up Life is Strange. Don't freak out, people. I haven't played it yet, so I got to play that.
I'd like to let the audience know that in case you do follow Xbot448 on Xbox Live, he will be playing Red Dead Redemption sometime in the next 7 days, even though he says he won't be.
I am not buying
he's mooching it.
I am not buying
it. He's mooching it off of Mel.
No. Snaps. She hasn't said anything about purchasing that yet. She, for some rhyme or reason, she believes the same as you, saying that I'll be playing that at some point in time, and I don't know. I don't see how or where. Or
somebody's going to step up and get you the game. You're going to
Xbox, in the wise words of Phil Spencer. Yep.
You know, if
you'll be playing it, buddy,
if somebody in the community happened to give me that game, I would definitely have to stream it day one and play it, put it out there.
He's sending out the feelers for Red Dead.
No. Am I the
for bot to play Red Dead? You need to add the Traveler, drop
gotta use the darkness.
Dark side powers.
Salty, you need a
come with Thunderlord.
You need a shooter that shows up every 6 years in a game or something, right?
Yeah. Wow,
that's great.
Hey, I gotta say, with that though, I mean, we're already at the 2-hour mark.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to send you a DM. Well, I'm gonna send you one anyway.
Yeah, so I knew you were going to, Mooch. So hit that like button. We're almost at 250. Let's get those likes up, folks. With that being said, Mooch, what's going on tomorrow? Is there a Mooch and Crap show tomorrow?
There should be, Crap.
Yes.
And since the 2 people on it are here, I think we're gonna do that. So 7 p.m. tomorrow on my channel, the Mooch 78. Listen, everybody here, we had 500 people here the whole night long. And Crap, I don't usually like this, but we have so much of a dynamic. We do so many things. The Mooch 78, go over, subscribe, hit the button. That's what these promos, the intros, the outros are all about. You hit the little bell, you hit the little red button. It's not a lot of work. You don't even break a sweat while you do it. So head on over and do that. We do have that at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And then we have Crossfire. on Friday, 7 p.m. Which a lot of the people that are here right now will be on that show as well. And let me tell you something, Crap, I have to appreciate that Crap did not go into a subject that I do want to get into. We're going to hit up a couple of the controversial things that are going on Twitter and the gaming media on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Crossfire. So definitely check it out, guys. And Crap, great show tonight. I had a lot of fun. Not going to lie to you.
Let's see. We've got Saltiest Gamer. What do you got going on, man?
I just got rejected. What the fuck was that?
He's like,
Excuse me? I'm writing you a letter, Crap Gamer. Right the fuck now.
You're crap, Gamer.
You're crap.
Yeah.
What do I got going on? I just bought a boom mic stand, so I'm like super professional now, guys. Like the mic is in my face now, so I feel special. What else? We started a show, me and Boom. It's gaming news at noon with Salty and Boom. Doesn't that rhyme? It feels good, right? Every Wednesday at noon. It rotates channel to channel. It's about an hour long. Tomorrow, after you guys' show, the Salty's Gaming Podcast. Yeah.
Sounds good. And now
all right,
we get to Foxy. What's going on, Foxy?
Man, I don't even want to say nothing. I'm leaving. No, I just want to say, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us, whether you loved it or hate it, but I know you guys had a lot to say. Thank you very much. Also, check out my channel. Whether you love Battlefield or not, just check out my thoughts. I really appreciate it. Crappy checked it out. Salty as well. I gotta go read that comment you left me, bro. I better not be bad either. But anyway, besides that, I just want to say thank you for all the support. Check out my Twitter if you want some Foxy deals, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Awesome. Xbot 432 aimbot 9 Destiny bot. What's up?
yeah.
Perfect.
What's going on, man? As usual, on my channel every Saturday, 7 p.m. It is the next podcast. I invite anybody who hasn't checked it out yet to definitely come check it out. We actually have gameplay going on while we talk the gaming.
Really?
Yeah.
You vote? Oh my god.
Gameplay. Yes, and you can vote for who you think had the best gameplay. And unfortunately, the Don won last week. So you got
trucks.
No,
Killer
it was
Instinct. Killer
Instinct.
all it was Rash from Killer Instinct kind of like thrusting for 15 minutes. Like I have no idea.
I requested that, right? Do you know it was me who did that?
Oh.
Sorry, not sorry.
15 minutes of that, just that. That's what.
No, I didn't say that's the only thing he should do, but he did it anyway.
Hey, Eternal Shaddai says the year's almost over. Which games are winners and losers for you? Winners for sure is all stuff, Spider-Man, God of War, Forza Horizon, Black
Shadow
Ops.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Losers. Destiny 2. What? That was last year. Sorry.
Oh
He just
man.
won. That was a jab right there. I know it, Crap. That was
a jab.
Just a little.
I mean, yeah, but other than that, these fine people have spent enough time here. Hit the like button. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting the show once again. We'll catch you next time. Rack them up later.
Bye.